I think that is why Mad pulled out the strategy that they did, right?
Yes.
They know that if they went into standard lane assignments, apart from maybe the bot lane 2v2, they may struggle across the board. The Misfits are very happy to just shrink back to what they have done previously. They're going to go for the Morgana here early on, despite not seeing a Thresh, but regardless, they're going to pick it up.
Yeah, I think the Morgana makes a lot of sense here. Even against the Galio, you know, having that black shield to avoid the taunt coming through is going to be important. The Trundle as well, you know, a very strong pick in the jungle up against the Sejuani.
You ban Kate. Like, you absolutely ban Kate on next rotation here.
We saw them do this previously in the last draft as well. They locked the Morgana without the Caitlyn, and it was left open. They were able to lock that, but I feel like Mad Lions, as a response to that last game, should go.
Now, to be fair with the Caitlyn Morgana, it wasn't the fact that this lane is very strong in the 2v2 that Mad Lions lost the game.
No.
Caitlyn got 2 kills and an assist around a very early Dragon fight, so while I do expect it to get removed, that isn't even... Now you have to ban. If you're picking Twitch, you can't play the
Twitch. And maybe that feels like they are just going for standard this time for Mad. They're just going to go back to a standard 1-1-2 gameplay of 2 in the bot lane. I want to kind of... You're smiling slightly, Ender, but I want to kind of get your ideas behind this. The Twitch is not something that we see locked in a lot.
Yeah, especially because, I mean, early laning phase, it's generally typically weak up against, you know, especially a pick like the Morgana. I wonder if they want to go for the swap again.
Okay.
I wonder if even if it's not directly the swap, you have seen way back when in the old Chinese leagues, when we saw Twitch drafted early, it used to be you just show up in one of the lanes invisible and just try to cheese out some of the kills. It's something that a lot of people would be familiar with from solo queue with jungle Twitch.
Yeah, we also saw Reckless actually play the Twitch in Rotterdam in those semifinals, and it didn't go terribly well for him. I think that this is a champion that really excels on like 2-3 items in these 5v5 team fights with that ultimate to have that strong presence. So Mad Lions, again, are looking, I think, for a bit later into the game scaling and the big team fights if they want to win out.
Do you ban Sion if you're Misfits here? Like maybe Palens just isn't comfortable on anything that isn't Sion? Because it feels like with the Gangplank ban again, maybe that is something that they're just trying to take away from Dandan.
It's not like Dandan's uncomfortable into Sion though either, so I feel like they're just leaving it up. They're trying to get rid of some of the things that might facilitate
Okay,
things.
is this Sejuani top?
I think
would say
Sejuani top.
Unless they're about to bring out the Sejuani mid.
Okay, hold up. No, hear me out. So, my Lord Vedius, he has told me that Nocturne mid is the sickest counter pick ever into Aurelia. Now, I don't believe him because the last time he played that matchup, he died like 4 times in lane and blamed me for not ganking. But hey, it could happen.
Okay, well, we'll see what happens as this draft progresses. It looks like Neon is going to lock in the Kai'Sa here, so we assume this is now waiting for the top lane pick for Dandan. Dandan maybe hasn't got a super good idea about what he's going up against in the top lane, but again, Dandan is so flexible with that champion pool. Even the Vladimir probably works okay.
The Vlad or the Nico are both perfect here. I think the Vlad gives them even better late game though, so I would like it here.
We'll wait and see. Misfits have just a few seconds to lock in the rest of their composition, and we'll wait to see what Dandan decides to take. It is going to be the Vladimir. No surprises there for Dandan. It is a champion that he will take time and time again into that top side of the map, and that rounds out that Misfits composition. Now we get to see that spice of Mad come through and finally get an idea about where everything's going.
Yeah, so my guess, because Palens used to be a jungle player, I'm thinking Sejuani top lane.
That was my
thought too.
Like, at least you could play a champion that you played countless times. You know how the mechanics work. And it looks like it is going to be Lissandra mid. It's likely going to be Sejuani top, and I assume it's going to be Nocturne jungle coming over from Blue as well.
I'm looking at Mad Lions comp, and I'm going, all they want to do is level 6 be roaming really, really heavily with the Lissandra Nocturne. They want to just be diving, they want to be forcing engages, because that's really all they can do with that kind of comp.
I don't know. I mean, I agree with you, but I think they can get things started a little bit earlier. Level 6, yes, they pop off, but this team can actually look for another lane swap. You know, similar to the Sion, Sejuani, very durable because of her passive in turret dive situations, and you have tools to work with early CC on the Galio, the stealth of Twitch. You can make it happen.
This is a disgusting Twitch teamfight composition as well.
Is.
You have Lissandra, you have Nocturne, you have Sejuani ultimate, and the Galio taunt. Like, if you can land these things in succession, that's pretty dirty. Now, I haven't got much time here, Celtic. I'm sorry, I'm going to have to cut you off. I want to get predictions for this game. Are you sticking to your Mad Lions?
Why not?
Why not? Okay, that doesn't sound very confident, Celtic Tiger.
I'm a little more confident in Misfits here.
You're a little more confident in Misfits here. I also see Leader on his Aurelia. I'm probably going to stick to my 2-0 for Misfits just from what I've seen. Gentlemen, just very quickly, before we go over, I haven't been told that we're quite ready yet. So,
I'm ready.
Very quick breakdown of what you think they need to do to win here. Oh, we are ready, apparently. We're
Oh,
going
hey,
over
hey,
to BP and
casters.
Foxtrot. Oh, hey,
Have
casters.
fun.
Good luck. It's time for us to take over, Excandro. No more points of analysis, only time for game time, right? Welcome back. I am here joined by Foxtrot, and we saw what can only be described as a dominating game one from Misfits.
You can describe it in many ways,
Yeah,
mate.
yeah. Dominating is one of the many ways.
That is one of them.
Not good for Mad Lions is another. But we now have an incredibly unique draft coming out from Mad Lions, if we want to put it that way. Sejuani in the top side, Twitch down the bot lane.
Yeah.
Spicy or desperate?
Yeah, unique. I think I'll leave it at that word. I think that was a good word to use. Yeah, I see. I don't know. You know, when we saw that first game of Mad Lions, I think Enda actually described it really well. Where Mad Lions didn't play 20 minutes terribly. They just had a very specific strategy that did not work, and just ruined the rest of their game. This is slightly different in the sense that, you know, you've got that Sejuani top. We don't see that too often. It's definitely a comfort pick for a jungle player because, you know, Sejuani is a jungle champion. But the question more becomes, how do you play around this? Because you've revealed a little bit of your hand in that first game where you went for that lane swap. And that, you know, I don't think you're going to fall for that twice in a best of 3. So this looks like it's going to be more of a standard lane setup here. You know what? I'm lying because that is actually going to be another lane swap.
Like they said on the desk?
I am a bit worried about it though because I just don't think that... I think Misfits are used to it, you know? I think they've already been burned by it once. I don't think they'll be burned twice.
Samek's just doing a little bit of scouting right now. We're going to see Obsess now starting on this top side. And he's just going to try and harass them away from this blue buff. And actually, it's a really smart play. This is kind of what they needed to do with the lane swap last time to stop this blue side jungle from being completely taken.
Yeah, and the thing is, if they are able to like reset this and buy a lot of time, then there is always that possibility. You know, they're double jungling. They're actually double jungling this. I'm trying to
This is like
talk and think.
2015, like old school lane swap double jungles. Like.
This is what happens when you get your sub jungler autofilled into your top laner at an offline tourney. This is what happened. Falco is bullying. He's got nothing.
He can't go back into it, and
But
yes, the
Falco
jungle will win, but he's got the blast cone to be able to get him out. Falco does trade about half his health bar, but that's kind of what they wanted to do because right now, like you said, they're just actually hard. I love this. We saw the Gigabyte Marines do this at MSI last year with the Nocturne, and I actually really like it. It's get that 7-minute level 6 onto Nocturne and just try and look for mad kills everywhere.
Yeah, they did that against Fnatic, if I'm not mistaken, as well.
Correct.
And it was one of those upset wins of that tournament. Misfits is not Fnatic, but it is genuinely going to be a Gigabyte Marine strategy here. So yeah, so you have the double jungle that accelerates your jungle clears, and then you just come into a lane, soak up that experience, and you're going to hit level 6 really, really fast. But the problem is, the risk of it is, you have to do something. You have to be able to use that like 6-minute level 6, or that really, I think it was like 5 minutes with the Gigabyte
Yeah,
Marines.
it was 5 minutes, but with jungle changes, I think it is going to be around 6-7 minutes.
Right, and that's the thing. Will Misfits fall for this one? Another unique strategy coming out of Mad Lions in this best of 3.
Yeah, definitely unique, as you said. You see Dan now being forced underneath his tower by Falco and Samex. And I actually kind of like, I like the Galio pick. It has a little bit more roam potential, got a little bit more level 6, like we talked about on the desk. But I also like the Twitch as well, because if he's able to get away and get into invisibility, he's a lot more safer in this laning phase, I feel, and it gives a lot more options for Mad Lions in this early game.
The difficulty of any kind of lane swap, however, nowadays is that the top lane towers are tankier than bot lane towers. That was brought in to stop lane swaps from happening. It means that Misfits are going to be able to siege down these plates and actually get these plates way faster than Mad Lions are going to be able to. So lane swaps really only work as a facilitator to get yourself an early game advantage that you can then go back to the bot lane to like reset the lane swap and then come into the lane stronger in the 2v2, which kind of avoids the poor lane matchups. Because you can see, look at that. There's like 10 damage done to this top lane tower and like 3 plates taken for Misfits. Like, Mad Lions need to get an advantage out of this, because if they just stay in these lanes, it's not going to work out for them.
Yeah, they need to try and find an opportunity somewhere, and like you said, they're kind of just hard funneling all their golden experience right now into that Nocturne, also giving Twitch a little bit of an easier time as well, so trying to get him more relevant. Palin's
1 CS.
He's got 1 CS, and he's only actually about 150 gold behind, or 200. So he's actually not that far behind in terms of like actual relevance right now. But it's a feel bad man right now. Like, it really is a feels bad man.
You are playing Sejuani, all you got to do is be tanky and press R, so it doesn't really need too much gold to be able to do that.
And Blue is able to soak up a lot of XP here, now hitting that level 5, the 450 mark. Close to level 6 now.
See Hiva just going to use the Black Shield. Blue Resort spell shields the binding, but Falco's found himself down in this bot side now, and that's going to force Misfits bot lane to be a little bit more careful. They're not quite sure where the Twitch is right now, but there is a teleport coming in.
That's Twitch.
That's pretty, actually not pretty, right? It is Twitch, and that's going to be a 4-man stack now on the bot side. Misfits forced to use the heal straight away. Neon just trying to get away. The taunt comes out. There's the cleanse as well. And I don't think there's much places for them to go. Hiva gonna get knocked down, locked out. Halens gets the kill. I don't think that's what they wanted to give it to. However, kill's a kill.
We did talk about how you have to, you can't stay in these lanes. You have to move out of it, try and get the early game advantage. And this is the play that sets that one up. So you do get that first blood, get that early kill. But like you say, it's on Palins. That is the worst player for that kill to go over to. And now we'll see. Palins is going back to this top side. Looks like they should just be going for standard lanes at this point. But again, item disparity here. You do have the Berserker Greaves versus a BF Sword on Neon. So he does have a little bit more like poke damage for those trades and stuff like that. The plus side for Twitch is he can stack up his poison a bit more to get that Envenom trade off as well. I'm more worried about the lack of summoners for Misfits here. So I would expect Mad Lions to show up again bot side. They need to be able to do something here, and it perfectly sets up Blue Resort's level 6 play in this bot side as well, because you've got 2 sitting ducks here who have no gap closers and no summoners.
That's true. He still flashes though for Samix and Falco, so they are very much in the winning situation in terms of summoners anyway. They'll be pretty happy knowing that they can go into this one here as well. Hiva has got the Black Shield though, so Neon's going to feel pretty safe enough just walking up on top of this, knowing that the taunt like that isn't really going to do much for the side of Mad Lions with that Black Shield being available, but now we're seeing a level 5 for Blue Resort. He's almost...
Dragons.
I was just about to say, he's almost level 6, but the Dragon's being snuck right now. And Obsess, taking a lot of damage, but he should be able to take this no problem.
He'll be able to take it as long as no one comes up and sneaks around, sniffs him out, which doesn't look like it's going to happen here. Boy.
Yeah, he had to smite it early and does get himself an Infernal. That means another one is going to be spawning in about 5 minutes' time. And already we're seeing the kind of, you know, the one mistake they made in that first game, I suppose, in the early game was going for that very, very early dragon. They didn't do it this time. They just conceded it, knowing that the lane swap wasn't really going to give them that kind of an advantage.
I think, honestly, they just didn't know Obsess was doing it. I don't think you want to get up an Infernal like that just straight away. Now, I want to see here, does Blue Resort use this level 6? He just hit level 6, okay? It's happened. This is the moment. Where's he going to go?
Yeah, maybe goes for mid lane. Yes, there is the Vanguard's edge straight away, but Pretty flashes away, but Leader is right on his tail.
God.
And he gets away. Blue Resort, you have no flash, you have nowhere to go. And, oh, this is already looking... The one strategy you had for Mad Lions was get that level 6, and like you said, make it impactful. Unfortunately, not in that particular way.
Not the one. Leader with a cheeky little smirk on his player cam there. He's been given Aurelia 2 games in a row right now. Aurelia is one of the most banned champions in the EU Masters. And Leader is one of the most banned players as far as... They throw everything in the kitchen sink at him in draft. But he's still got this huge power pick, and you're seeing why. He's been able to build up significant CS leads in the 1v1, and now he's getting the kills as well. Oh, it's a perfect start for Misfits.
Yeah, they've already got themselves a near 2,000 gold lead. It's not as rapidly accelerating as the last game, but you do not want that Aurelia to start popping off super quickly. And this poor Sejuani top is 50 CS down. That is just not a fun time.
Yeah, they kind of gave up Sejuani's early game by having a split farm with Blue Resort, so that CS difference sort of should also be to Blue Resort, but he's not even... I mean, he needed that early level 6, and that didn't work out, so that's kind of just a wash at this point as well. Fortunately for Mad Lions, the weak lane phase from Twitch has been washed over as well. They're very equal in this bot side, so that is one benefit of the lane swap that has worked out for them.
Yeah, and more and more pressure being put onto Pretty, and we talked about it a couple of times and how Leader has been kind of the identity of this Misfits team, but coming into this, a big question mark over him was his consistency and how can he come into this. But he's given Aurelia most of the time and not really pressured. I think he's going to be just fine, and he's really putting down pressure now onto Pretty in the series.
We saw it actually in their semi-final matchup against Big as well, Zazie in that mid lane, where Leader was solo killing Zazie at level 3, double tower diving. Leader is obviously the X factor for this squad, and so far 1-0-1 on Aurelia. Oh man, they're just too scared to fight him.
Yeah, they can't
Like,
really.
Like,
go
Leader
through
knows
it.
he's there, by the way. Like, he's on a ward. He just
Yeah.
doesn't care.
Doesn't care, and Samuk's now in a lot of trouble and nowhere to go. Neon picks that one up. It was a perfect pillar from Obsess, and oy vey, this is just not looking good right now. I feel like Misfits are just toying with their food.
And all this time that Blue Resort spends onto Leader, Leader just absorbs this pressure like a black hole of pressure. It all comes into him. He doesn't care at all. Oh, here we go.
Here we go. We're going to see the Galio going in as well, but it's just not enough there. Pretty was already out, had already used all of his kit. Falco just trying his best to stay alive, forced the flash away. Hiva taking very, very low, has got the heal and keeps himself alive. Another kill to Misfits.
When we've seen Misfits struggle as a team, it's by attacking Leader in this mid lane, shutting him down. It works multiple times. Oh, it's not. No, it's not. It's not. This
not
is not
working.
one of those games where it's working. This is not one of them. It's not happening. The blue juice is too strong.
He's already got a blue buff as well, so he's going to have that massive amount of mana and cooldown reduction already early in this game. It's so important for him, as we see Dan going to get jumped on by Palins. But again, he's a Vladimir. He's not going to go anywhere. He can sustain for days, and Blue Resort is going to come up towards the taking Rift Herald as of this moment in time. And both ultimates kind of just whiffing right there. And either way, it doesn't really matter. Both of them just walk away. But Mad Lions, they are... It's not over, obviously, by a long shot. However, this is looking very reminiscent from game one.
It is slipping away from them a little bit right here. Now, as we said in that game one, the things that Mad Lions need to do to win, they have a good team fight. When you have the spray and pray from Twitch. Oh, we have a little bit of catch here. The Black Shield is going to deny that one.
Is it? Because Hiva has got flash. He might be forced to use it now in a second. Yep, there it is. So, decent little proactive play for the Mad Lions bot lane and kind of facilitated by the Twitch invisibility.
Yeah, they get something out of it. Let's go back to my point. Team fights, that's where it's at for Mad Lions. And, you know, if you can kind of just, as long as Samus has the tools, then it's cool, you know, because you have, like, the front line from Palins, you have utility from Pretty and from Falco as well. Like, you don't need damage or items or anything like that on these champions. It just comes down to Samus's damage. And he's in a decent spot this game. He's going to hit that Blade of the Ruined King soon. He'll want that Hurricane next, most likely, as well. And like 2 and 3 items is really where Twitch shines and where he comes online. Kai'Sa will be spiking a lot earlier, though, with the Storm Razor build. A 2-item Kai'Sa build.
Yeah, we actually see the Dragon being taken now as well by Obsess. Again, that is double Infernal. And honestly, it could not get any better for the side of Misfits in terms of Dragon RNG.
Oh, yeah. They're totally happy with this one. And when you have someone like Vladimir in top lane, who will probably be building a death cap and then that Spellbinder potentially as well, like he goes for very high AP builds. Infernal is perfect for him. Also, the passive gives him loads of health in his AP, but we're going to get a play in the bot side.
Yeah, they're forcing this one very, very hard. And there's the flash in. There's the Zhonya's, the broken stopwatch now. Hiva will give up his life. Flash burned by Neon. He will get comp, but he has got cleanse. Got enough summoners and Pretty. He can't tank that turret for much longer. They invest so much. And honestly, they don't really gain anything because mid lane, they've got a Rift Herald. They can keep going on this.
It was a 1-for-1 in the bot lane, plus this Rift Herald in the mid lane. Oh boy, like, whenever Mad Lions try and make a play, it's just like Misfits are one step ahead of them.
They know that, I was going to say, they know that the Lissandra is in that move, but like that means that Leader, they know they backed away. He's like, cool, I don't need to defend. I can just go for the second tier. This is so much gold just going over to Leader right there. You saw him when he took the turret, he got 600, and it's just going to be disgusting now for this mid laner. We talked about the last game, he was doing nothing. This game, he is very much the focus for this Misfits side.
I think what's so scary as well is that Misfits and their main carries haven't even really come online right now. If we look at Leader and we look at his itemization, that he literally just finished that Triforce, and that is the point where Aurelia starts taking over the game and starts becoming a huge threat in the 1v1 in the side lane, wherever you want to put her. She didn't have that until right now, but she was already popping off. Same thing for the Kai'Sa, who really wants to get like the Storm Razor plus that Ginzu's as well before she becomes a big deal too. And it's like, yeah, the Misfits are already going very fast, and they're not going to slow down. They're going to keep going even faster.
And the thing is, for Mad Lions, with this particular composition, with what they have built, stalling out doesn't actually work. We saw that in the last game. They need to make proactive plays. Now they're trying to make those plays, which is much better than the last game. It's just, you're giving up so much in the process.
It's not really working out for them. Cyrus has to stealth out of this one.
Obsess does have the black shield on him. We're going to see the Galio ultimate use. Flash used there by the Trundle. Trundle actually in a little bit of a desperate situation. They trade on for Morgana. As I say that, that's good ultimate there from Palance. They try to keep going on this, but you can't do anything against Neon and Leader. They have too much damage. They have too much mobility, and they just have too much gold.
Oh, I said it. Misfits are going ridiculously fast, and they're not going to slow down. That is 4 kills over to the French team. We have to go as well. If Misfits win this game, best of 3, they're through. They're through to the grand finals for the first time for the LFL. It has not happened before. They will face the winner of our next series, SK Prime versus Fnatic, which will be after this one. The French region are looking ridiculously strong right now.
Yeah, Mad Lions, there's just not a lot for them to do right now. There's not a lot of options, and I know we try our best to give options to teams and go, what do you want to do? What's their way back into it? Unfortunately, right now, they get outscaled, they get out team fought. Unless Samux just doesn't get touched and has an absolute god spray and pray, it's just not going to happen.
If this game goes like 40, 50 minutes and you
on
find
top of the current 15.
right, and you find that perfect opening where, like you mentioned, Samux can just go for that spray and pray, then yeah, you know, you can wipe a team fight just like that. Misfits aren't that tanky, so you know, if you do get some eyes on that Twitch, there is a way back into the game. For now, you know, we're only 16 minutes into this one, and Misfits have already taken that inhibitor tower, and when that's down, more things will happen. So we'll see how this fight starts off. It's an engage from Misfits onto the Mad Lions. And Mad Lions decide to keep going on this one. It's like, yeah, okay, we can do this one. It's looking pretty decent for us, but you have to respect the fact that you're so far behind this Misfits roster. They're so strong in this part of the game, and they just all swoop in, mop this fight up. Pretty tries to run away, but spoiler alert, he ain't getting away from this one.
No, another great pillar there, and this jungle pick's actually worked out really, really well as we jump straight back into the action. There's a good ultimate there on top of the spot lane from Misfits. They're forced to flash away, and they will get the shutdown there. This is good from the side of Mad Lions. It's exactly what they needed to do. Catch out on an overextension. Can they get that double kill? Yes, they can. 2 kills onto that Nocturne. There is a shining light on the end of the tunnel.
There you go, 2 free kills for Mad Lions. That is a good way to get some resources back onto your squad and stall this game out. Sadly doesn't go up to Samux, but still, you know, getting those 2 kills onto Blue Resort, you know, he is someone, look, you can see from his build, he's obviously trying to take a bit of a carry role in this game. The fact that he has the Grand Entrance to back him up for those paranoia engages means he can afford to build a bit more damage. Pretty has to be careful. Ooh, she's okay.
Just about. But this, as you said, gives time to the Mad Lions. It gives them resources. It means that you know that kind of like final push that was honestly looking like it was going to come from Misfits doesn't actually happen, and a little bit of kind of, you know, waiting to see what the Mad Lions want to do from that. You got 2 picks, well done, very well done for you twos. But again, it's a drop in the ocean considering what Misfits have set themselves up for.
This will be the 3rd dragon of the game for Misfits too. The Cloud Dragon isn't massively impactful for them at this point in the game. What's more scary is the fact that Elder Dragon, if it comes down to this late game where Mad Lions really want to stall out too, becomes a huge priority objective for Misfits. Another avenue for these guys to win this game. You've already got the Baron, you've already got the team fight because you're so far ahead, and then you'll have the Elder Dragon because you'll have so many of these dragons stacked up to empower that Elder Dragon buff. Mad Lions here, it's going to be a very difficult game.
It is, but you can see that those kind of like that the impact of those 2 picks on the side of Misfits, they're being a little bit more cautious, taking that extra step, doing the buddy system, you know, with your jungler and potentially your bot lane as well, like moving in. You do not want to go in solo because if you do, that's how you get caught.
So moving together in the jungle, as you mentioned, to sweep out a little bit of this vision because we are a minute and a half-ish away from Baron. And that is the next big objective that Misfits will want to take. Oh, we're going to get engaged.
Yeah, they're going to go straight in on top of the Morgana, who actually gets bursted down immediately. Now they're going to turn out to this Trundle as well. The TP coming in, but it's honestly a little bit late. Neon goes in, he picks up himself up a first kill. It's 1 for 2. Now Leader and Dandan are here. The big carries of Misfits have joined. Dandan flashes over, gets a huge hemo play. Good ultimate there for Pretty as he just tries to stall out. They will trade a 2 for 1 for the moment. Palance is running as fast as he physically can. There is the Vanguard's edge. He's going to slow him down, get all the free resets. Leader picks up that one. Neon finds himself another one. It's 3 for 2 overall. Misfits finds the play despite Mad Lions' best chances.
And just when it looks like Mad Lions have found their way to stall this game out with constant picks, Misfits turn it around, throw it in their face, say, Mad Lions, you're not having this one, not today. Misfits come out on top here, and again, you know, this is it. Anytime Mad Lions feel like they have that advantage, Misfits are taking it away from them, and the more this happens, the more time advances, the harder it becomes for Mad Lions to stare down this Baron Nashor, which will be that next big objective. Misfits sweep out vision around that area. It'll be very hard for Mad to contest.
Shining light for Mad Lions, it has delayed even further. It has forced a couple of summoners. I'm trying to be incredibly nice. Like, you're giving me this look right now of just kind of like, really? But, you know, it's showing that, like, the fact that they only came out of that for a 2 for 3, yes, they come out of it on the losing end of it, but they still got 2 kills. They still got a bit of gold in there. They've got 2 items now onto Twitch. There is opportunities. However, those opportunities are very, very small and not very common.
And those opportunities will come in 5 or 10 minutes. But Mad Lions need them right now. Misfits are engaging.
Yeah, Misfits are going to get in. Falco's is going to be the one sacrifice for this, I feel. He does not really have anywhere else to go. He's going to be giving up his life. They needed to make sure that Blue Resort and Palin stay alive for this potential Baron fight. I don't know if they can really go for it, but, you know, Misfits, they're going to look for a little bit of engage. Here we go. Neon goes in. Palin goes out.
It's a classic rock and a hard place, BP. You have to defend the Baron, but you cannot defend the Baron.
Oh, flash in, Vanguard. Samix flashes away, and he's invisible. He's going to try and just disengage as much as he possibly can. Leader walks away. Samix keeps his life for now, but that is the Baron now open, potentially for Misfits.
Yeah, just got to keep sweeping the vision. That cheeky little ward in the top corner there will reveal that Misfits have started this, but can Mad Lions even stop it, even if they know that it's going down?
Yeah, you can see Dandan and Hiba playing bouncers right now. There's the black shield there on the Dandan, so he's going to feel super, super safe. He has to use his pool, though, straight away. Blue Resort is going to be the target for a little bit. He goes in. Will he be able to get anything? The Baron goes down. They do trade 1. They trade so close to 2, but there is Neon and Leader still available in this fight. They end up trading a 1 for 2. There's going to be Neon just wrecking this backside, but Samix is getting time. Samix is able to get opportunities, but he's just got not enough damage right now. He's got no flash and nowhere to go. It's an ace for 3 on the side of Misfits, and they can push up this mid lane. I don't know if they can end the game, though. These death timers are still very small.
They do have that Baron buff, so this push is going to be even stronger. It looks like they're not going to go full committing for this mid lane push here. They'll take out that inhibitor, though, and again, we saw this in the first game. If you can get a push straight after taking the Baron, it then means that after you reset, you get another healthy time to go for a second push, and that's going to be the scary one for Mad Lions.
They do lose 3 of their Baron buffs on the side of Misfits, so again, that Baron push not going to be as effective like you said, but they pick up a turret, they pick up the mid lane inhibitor, and overall, it just kind of resets the status of the game right now. 20 seconds until Dragon is spawning, and right now, Mad, again, they're 14,000 gold down. They feel 14,000 gold down, but they are actually delaying a lot better in this game than they did in the last.
Yeah, they're trying to do it. They're finding their windows, but it's tough. Just like this team fight right here, this is a 2v5 essentially on the front side. Because it's just Dandan and Hiba, as you mentioned, running bouncer on this one. But it doesn't matter because Misfits, all they need is the Baron buff. They know that they're so far ahead that you cannot kill these 2 players fast enough for then Mad Lions to go and swoop into the rest of the Misfits squad and punish that. And Samix, who'd already lost his flash earlier, cannot make that play. This is now a triple infernal for Misfits.
Oh, they tried to use the ultimate there, Palin's, and unfortunately the black shield was available, so it did not do anything to Neon, and Neon is having a fantastic game with Leader. 9-0-4 for Leader, 9-1 and 2 for Neon, and they're starting to siege the base, like you said, with this kind of, second push with the Baron. They're on to Nexus turrets.
Yeah, the Dandan is in the top side of the map without a Baron buff. So if Misfits keep going for this one, I feel like it would be pretty insane. But then again, it is Misfits.
They're feeling good. They're feeling strong. They feel like they want to make a statement in this series to set them up nicely for that best of 5 tomorrow if they are able to close out this series. Super Minions now filing into that mid lane. We're going to see Mad Lions last stand. This is it. This is your opportunity to really go for this. First Nexus turret will fall. Dandan still pushing in the top side as we go in. Here we go. Flash in. Get the taunt down on the Leader. They're going to jump in with Blue Resort as well. They're trying to get anything they can, but there's just not enough damage. There's just not enough health bars. There's just not enough time. It's a triple kill for Leader. And you're going to be able to end the game. Misfits 2-0 over Mad Lions, and they will be going to the finals.
And that was as convincing a game series as we will ever see out of Misfits. That was just a thrashing from start to finish in Game 1 and in Game 2. The first time that the LFL and the French team will be represented in the grand finals here at the EU Masters, which will be played out tomorrow. And everyone thought it would be LDLC. They thought they were the unstoppable team, but it's not them, it's Misfits. Huge kudos to them.
Yeah, and you gotta say, like, you know, commiserations to the Mad Lions. Obviously, they had some roster issues. They tried their best to try and figure it out. Ender believed in them. He believed in the 2-0 for Mad Lions, but Misfits, I gotta give huge props as well. We talked about their solo lanes and everything, but I have to give huge props to the bot lane of Misfits. You know, it's the Neon and Hiva were awesome, and I can only call them that because they were the weak link in that team, and they've stepped up on LAN and they look good.
I think what's most impressive about Neon and Hiva in this series especially is that Samox had been highly praised coming into here. Like, I said it already, but he had not died since, like, group stage. He didn't die. In the playoffs, he hadn't died. Like, he was a big part of this team, and to look impressive as Neon Hiva did against that kind of caliber of bot lane was just... It makes me very terrified because we thought the Misfits going into the grand final would be the underdog against whoever won between Fnatic and SK. But if they're more of a complete package now because their bot lane is actually stepping up too, that is going to be an insane best of 5-1.
There's like a LAN nerf, which we don't hear that SK have, and there's a LAN buff, which clearly Misfits have gotten because Leader looked good. Dan did exactly what he's always done. He's been consistent the whole thing. Obsessed looked very good. Again, another question mark over what he can play. And bot lane, again, the Misfits bot lane just looked great. And I really do need to give, congratulations to them because you come into a game like this, you can underestimate your opponent a little bit. You're going, oh, they're doing with this, they're doing that. But at the end of the day, they had to deal with lane swaps. They had to deal with everything. And also, straight up to the Misfits drafting. The drafting from Misfits was just perfect from this entire series.
Yeah, also, if we're going to give credit as well to Mad Lions and then the fact they came through with a plan, even though it was, a bit unorthodox, the fact they recognized they were put into a pretty crappy situation, with the Opera not able to get his visa and Palin stepping in. I think they played to that as best they could, and it almost worked out in a few situations as well. So, Mad Lions, it wasn't their day today. But Misfits, it definitely was. It wasn't their day. It was like I'm like thoroughly impressed with the way they played.
Yeah, they played absolutely fantastic, and we're going to actually send it down to the top laner of Misfits, Dan, who's sitting by with Colin.
Yes, thank you guys. I'm standing here with Dan. First of all, congratulations with the win.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
Yeah, I'm just gonna ask what everybody thinks. Like, were you expecting Mad Lions to do something, this surprising?
We were expecting some kind of cheese because it's just not really plausible for him to win with an autofill top laner. I think we were expecting something. I wasn't expecting a lane swap, that's for sure, but we were thinking he's going to play something cheesy on top lane or they're going to do something weird, that's for sure, yeah.
Yeah, because it's interesting you started about that lane swap. Because on the top lane, the Vladimir in the first game, you stay away from the brush. Were you expecting them to cheese over there?
No, Tristana just walked out of the bush, so that's why I saw him. So otherwise, I would have been dead. But I just think the lane swap is just not very good right now because my Caitlyn Morgana just gets 25 platings in one game, and I'm just I didn't really do anything in these games. I was just doing what was required of me. My bot lane played well, my mid lane played well, and I was just playing my Vladimir.
There's another best of 3 today. It's going to be SK Prime versus Fnatic Rising. Who do you expect is going to face you guys tomorrow in the grand final?
Well, I think it really depends, because both teams have like a reputation of like not playing very well on LAN. But I think that it's you ask the teams and they will say the same. But I think that they're actually really good teams. I think. Depending on how good Magic Felix plays, I think if he really, really steps it up, I think Fnatic are going to take the edge. Otherwise, I think I think Sakura on top lane is just an absolute monster. So, yeah, we'll see.
I'm going to say go enjoy, go prep for tomorrow because you're in that grand final. We're going to get ready for that next semifinal. We're going to go back to the desk. So, Kieran, take it away.
Thank you very much. Yes, we are going to wrap up what was a fairly